Okay. Welcome back to Nick Lenz Corner Classic Non-Classics. This is episode number 32, 38, and Doubleshot number 31, 32. Well, here's the thing about the first book I'm discussing, which is basically Spawn Compendium Book 5. My phone can't feature, my laptop features. I'm not going to show the whole thing laptop. So, the 5th Spawn Compendium. I tried to order this from ILL. They wouldn't give it to me, so we're talking about here. The book collects issues 201 to 250 of Spawn. This is the last trade to discuss for now until they release a new trade paperback for the later stuff, because everything basically with this be done with. Yes. So, skipping over the first 12 issues because I've discussed those issues already thanks to Spawn New Beginnings trades. Simply put, here's what happens. Well, we have a lot of stuff for the clown. He just does stuff for it. About halfway through the issues, Jason Wynn returns. Doesn't do much. Shocked the fact to see him. Jim Downing does his usual stuff, because this is still the Jim Downing era. And then, toward the end of the stuff, he is told, you need to bring back Al Simmons. Probably because behind the scenes, basically, that how I found my beginning deaths, that the book is not selling very well at this point in time, because I think people are getting really bored of Jim Downing. Because this is the era of the bright artwork. Like, shiny artwork. Like, if you read any issue that features Jim Downing, it's like bright, 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 every single issue. That is my biggest problem with the Jim Downing issues. It's not basically the writing, it's the artwork. And eventually, Al Simmons does come back. Jim Downing falls on a hole, presumably dies, and never seen again. He's mentioned maybe a couple times after this. And then 250 ends with Al Simmons coming back with a big freaking sword. And that is pretty much this era in a nutshell. That's kind of what happens over the course of 38 issues. Yeah, Jim Downing, a lot of what he does is just some healing stuff. He doesn't actually sprout wings like Gunslinger Spawn does, but he's more of a public Spawn, per se, unlike Al Simmons, who is very secretive, works in shadows. Not Jim Downing. Oh no, let's just basically have him out in the open. So, do I think that Jim Downing was written poorly? No, that's not the issue with Jim Downing. The problem is the artwork. Yes, the artwork in this era. The dark stuff is fine. I have no problem with dark artwork. It just has so much daylight stuff here. It feels like because usually Spawn occasionally takes place in daytime, yes, but I kind of wish basically a little more night stuff. And I kind of feel as a lot of the time Jim Downing is not really Spawn. He is just himself in his own freaking book. Yes, and also whatever plans basically there was have Al Simmons become the Omega Spawn. It's like the information I've heard about the whole thing related to that, and him being the main villain of Image United, and why the book had to be on delay. The reason is because the founding members broke up. There's some still work there, yes, but some are not partners anymore. It's like this was one last scrap, basically, where Al Simmons was going to be main villain, and the book was the last 6 issues, so it was Image United, and the book stopped after 6 issues due to a lot of legal stuff and the fact that Jim Lee was not available. Yeah, it was, according to Rob Liefeld, a very confusing mess of a series. And according to him, the series is over. There's no plans to continue it. That's according to Rob Liefeld. I do not know how Tom McFarlane feels about it, given the fact he's been teasing a podcast for a while. I would love to hear from him, per se. But, that depends. What do I give Spawn Compendium, Volume 5? I give this roughly 8.5 out of 10. And with that, I am caught up reviewing Spawn. Unless new trade comes out, I'm not very regular individual issues for Spawn. I like reviewing the trade paperbacks for it. Not that I'll read them. Yes, I'll talk about when the trade paperbacks come out. Excuse me. Next up we have is Savage Dragon Invasion. Yep. We're finally out of the archive books and basically to the regular Savage Dragon trades. This trade itself collects issues 175 to 180. I'm skipping 175 because I've discussed it already in the 7th archive edition for Savage Dragon. Now, the main reason why I decided to switch from the archive books to these books is because, well, it's not because we do a lot of this book. That's not the issue. The issue is I really wanted to view this stuff in color. So, Eric Larson, writer and artist, no mention inking per se. We have a bunch of... He doesn't even colors anymore. Nope. So, skipping past issue 175, which feels like a bit of a wrap-up, and also, then we have a back feature that actually was not collected in the trade. This is Confrontation. This is a start of a new era for the book, where, starting with this very issue up until, as of right now, this is the direction. Malcolm Dragon is practically the star of this book, and he confronts this tall black kid, who tries to intimidate Malcolm Dragon, and Malcolm's like, it's not working. It's like, yeah. And basically tries to hit on his girl, like a girlfriend who looks like she's got, look at her face. Oh my gosh, it looks like basically that they gave her like a mold on her lip for some reason. And also, I have no idea why in the world that Eric Larson decided to include this in this book. Yeah, let's include it where this guy can't keep his pants up. Oh boy, this, oh my gosh. So, this is something I could never really frickin' stand. Guys, basically, when they can't keep their pants up, they like showing off their underwear. Even when I was a kid, basically, guys like doing this. Occasionally might see us today, but not as bad as the 90s. Oh no, this is a 90s trend. And you see him here, holding it, he's basically trying to keep his pants up. I'm like, dude, where's your frickin' belt? Yeah. It's my understanding that the reason why guys do this is because they don't care to wear their pants properly. I'm sure their parents probably have told them, like, basically as teenagers, hey, kid, pull your pants up. They're like, nope, we're not doing that because la la la, we're not listening to you. There was one time when I was a kid, I was sitting on the floor, like, because I thought I was going to go bowling, not sit to play basketball. One guy decided to and these guys basically pulled on their pants, just when exposed basically in their underwear. One guy was told, one point, to briefly pull it up. I'm like, every time I see this, what you think about, I'm like, dude, pull your pants up. We do not see you need your underwear. I try my best basically when I walk around, especially my working uniform, that I basically pull my own pants up to make myself look nice. Keep my pants up basically I wanted to. The number of work questions why I don't want my pants the way I do. When I was in when I was going to Christian school, I was questioned of why in the world I want my pants that way I do. I was told to do that by my mom, and I've just gotten so used to it over the past 30 years, I've just didn't stop doing it. Because I've gotten so used to wearing my pants basically what I do. I'm not going to say how I wear it, but there's a way I wear pants that I just feel comfortable wearing this way because that's what my mom told me to do. Moving on, so Malcolm has a go fights. We have this one guy here who's very much a vigilante, who kills a criminal like a freak, and the police freeze. Nice try. Show's over, and then we see that apparently we see Angel. There's a bit of confusion with Angel, where she apparently had powers and she doesn't have power. She's apparently weak, but she can regain muscle mass. Yeah. At this point, she's got a bit of muscle in her arms, but she's not, like, beefy. We see Anne. Anne Stevens' nurse, who was pregnant at one point, but no longer pregnant. We see what looks like to be Frank. I believe this actually is a son of the captain who actually cared for adoptive father, Savage Dragon, who they become a couple because at one point these two make out, and they, according to Malcolm sees them later on, they apparently had sex. And I'm like, they're consenting, it's fine. And then, oh yeah, now this guy apparently decides to keep his pants up. So he attempts to fight Malcolm. Oh, okay, apparently he forgot to basically keep his pants up because he still refuses to wear a belt. He tries to attack him. Malcolm does not want to fight back. He's not doing anything wrong. And then this guy punches him in the face. He's like, oh my gosh, he broke my hand. And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm not made the same as you are. So you just punch a brick wall. And then the guy shows like, Malcolm Dragon, the war between freaks and humans must come to an end. Join me, but it's once for all. To realize space. What? Yeah, basically this guy killed his father, so basically Malcolm just beats the living crap out of him. They fight all over the place. Malcolm nearly loses his shirt. Yeah, and this guy is a complete idiot. Yeah, the idiot who doesn't want to wear a belt. Yep, and he gets home, and he finds that apparently Frank is not there. Well, the Frank Sr. is not there. His wife is not there, but apparently, like, he'll be out late. Angel's trying to get some sleep. Boys, finish your homework before TV or games around 9. So, and then basically Malcolm discovers sister had sex. And then we have this weird sequence here where it looks like something is swimming, and then Dragon basically decides to call his kids. Oh yeah. It's like, we should, oh, Angel slept with Frank. Oh, we should do protection. Yep. Yeah, basically it's like, yeah, you telling your sister basically slept with Frank. I mean, I think Dragon even knows basically it's not Frank Sr. because Frank Sr. was basically older than she is. So it's obviously Frank Jr. So even I'm glad the fact Eric Larson does not write his cash cow character, Savage Dragon, to be an idiot. Even he knows basically what he's talking about. And then we have a mutated Osama bin Laden attacking Chicago. Yes. For some weird reason, they think this is, like, okay, I think it's fun despite the fact that real life guy is a despicable human. He was a despicable human being, Osama bin Laden, the man who planned 9/11. Yeah, and what does Malcolm do? Fight him. Yep. And then supposedly he's beaten. Yep, and apparently they're praised for what they did. And then apparently they're planning for an actual invasion. Yep, also Malcolm's girlfriend breaks up with him. Oh, don't worry, she'll be back because there is some weird, wacky hijinks that happens in 200. I'll get to that. Because it is so baffling what Malcolm does in 200. You think, big celebrations of the series. Nope. It's wacky time. I'll get to that. Yes. So yeah, so then Malcolm explains basically broke up with him, and they mention, oh yeah, we want Adrian. Yeah, dude, grab a belt and stop grabbing your pants. And then we meet Maxine. Who is Maxine, might I ask? That's Malcolm's future wife. And the mother of one of his kids. Basically, well, I'll get to that. But yeah, this woman will later marry Malcolm. Yep. And she comes from a very traditional family who doesn't like Malcolm at all because he's not Asian. Yes, seriously. All because he's not the same skin color. That's why basically her family doesn't like him very much. Yep, this is where they officially started dating. And then Anne with, I think it's her husband. Where then we have Angel with Frank. And then we have Monster Attack happening. And oh look, a panty shop, because Eric Larson basically probably wanted to do a panty shop with this girl. Oh, by the way, during the course of this fight, the craziest invasion going on, and Vanguard tells Dragon what's going on Earth, and then we see Daredevil pop up here. This, of course, is public domain Daredevil, Bat Daredevil, not Matt Murdock. We have more fighting here, and Hercules is basically fighting this invasion too. And then we see apparently the other people fighting this invasion. The other people being Invincible, Spawn, Witchblade, and Shadowhawk. Okay, so a little explanation of who Shadowhawk is. He is a creation of Jim Valentino, who, from what I heard from Rob Liefeld, he was actually the oldest of all the founders of Image Comics. Shadowhawk is this legacy character in story where he basically like father and son. He is technically Image's version of Punisher. That's literally what the man is. That's why basically blood. And you can tell by the hair that's obviously Sarah Pacelli as Witchblade. This is probably still when her ongoing series was going on before it ended. So all this crazy is happening. Of course, Dragons try to get back, fighting off against other people. And then Angel asks the weirdest question, basically to her own stepbrother. Make love to her. That is something that will be followed up on much later in the book. Yes. And then we have a weird shot here where we explain the whole flashback of how Dragon got the way he does. And then we have Mighty Man fighting the invasion here. Lots of big name fighting. We see Solar Man pop up here. Even Ant. Even they threw in Mike Aldridge's Madman. Even he makes appearance here. And who the heck is this guy here? I'm not sure who he is. Then Soup Page comes in, and then we have this very weird moment where Rex and don't remember her name. Or apparently these two are sleeping together. Yep. And we have various superheroes falling. And then enough. The battle is in, an almighty God demands it. Yeah, so God himself basically steps in and tries to stop out. He gets killed. Not good. So then Dragon's like, yeah. And the book ends with Dragon's other son challenging him to a combat match for the throne. Yep. And that's book in a nutshell. Fun book. Yeah. And I love this book. And keeping these issues only came out like 13 years ago. Yeah. Those of you curious, was this the point where I caught up with the book originally? No, it was actually a little bit after this, is when I caught up with the book. Yep. So yeah, that is pretty much it, particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. It's getting kind of late right now, so I'm going to probably wrap it up right now, and probably do more, there's a couple comic wars. I'll do it tomorrow, okay? See you. Right.